Colts Nation, it is officially here. We are on the week of the NFL Draft, the 2026 NFL Draft. Welcome to Colts Talk, presented by PrizePicks. Billy Beebe with you. It's all about Schefter today, what the ESPN NFL Insider has to say about the Colts, the NFL, the draft, the trade market, all of it coming back to the kind of Colts corner, Colts close-knit community. We are going to get into it. We'll get right into it. What did Schefter have to say that involves the Colts? The trade market. Though A.J. Brown and Jonathan Greenard are two of the biggest trade candidates, and defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence was already traded Saturday to Cincinnati for the number 10 pick, there are plenty more who could be dealt during the upcoming draft. Schefter continues, those who could gain interest include Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson Sr., Titans quarterback Will Levis, Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler, Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts Sr., Colts cornerback Kenny Moore II, Giants edge Kayvon Thibodeaux, Bills wide receiver Keon Coleman, and 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk, amongst others. So, a lot in that quote from Adam Schefter there. I definitely do want to note to you guys, my take from all of that, from everything that was just said by Schefter in that group of both names and odds and what we're going to look for upcoming in the NFL draft. The Colts are going to be discussed, connected, mentioned, involved, however you want to put it. When you hear a trade rumor in the NFL, when you get that hourly trade update, what are we hearing at the NFL draft? The Colts are going to be involved. I see 4 names on that list that I feel like Indy could be involved with. Obviously, their own players, and then you have players for other teams, targets, that the Colts will definitely be considered a team to watch for that group. So that's big from Schefter, all those names, and the Colts being involved. Now, my question for you, will Indy make a trade before the NFL draft? Get things done, get their picks, make it happen. We're going to do this one before the NFL draft. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Anthony Richardson continues to be the name when discussing the Indianapolis Colts and their trade rumors. I know he didn't show up for the stuff organized by the Colts today. Neither did Kenny Moore, so not a big surprise on that one there. And we know from Schefter recently gave us the update that it's a bad market. The market's slow. If there's value, which there's not many teams interested, if there's value, not much at this point with Anthony Richardson. And I'm going to stop you guys before we go forward. A lot of you have mentioned, what about the Rams? I heard the Rams are involved. I keep hearing the Rams. I have also seen the Rams and Anthony Richardson and the Colts, right, all involved at once. I think it's important to note this is a social media rumor. That's okay. We're going to talk about social media rumors a lot on this show sometimes. It's what the people are talking about. It's what we'll talk about here on Colts Talk. But I do want to mention, NFL updates saying the Rams have reached out to the Colts about Anthony Richardson. That's a social media rumor. There's no confirmed report. There's no Yahoo Sports or ESPN. It's just NFL updates or NFL rumors or just random page. And that's all I could find today when I dipped into it and looked for it. And yeah, maybe the Rams are interested. I know our Rams show here at Chat Sport, they have discussed it, but there is no validity to it as of right now as far as Anthony Richardson goes. However, we could get some heated up rumors. And you say to yourself, how do I know we could get them, or how do you get them? The NFL draft. That's how we're going to get them. I am urging you, ladies and gentlemen of Colts Nation, watch and pay attention to the draft. I know you are already for the Colts. If they take a quarterback, that should mean Anthony Richardson will be on the move, right? Shouldn't it? If you're saying to yourself, why would they take a quarterback? I will explain to you why that is a possibility in just 1 second. But first, today's show is presented by PrizePicks. I myself am using the PrizePicks every single day right now, every single day. Yeah, that's because on the PrizePicks app, it's the best place to win cash while watching sports. I'm watching sports every day. I'm using the PrizePicks app every day because I can win cash while watching sports. Basketball playoffs are here, daily baseball games, and if you really want to mix it up, try something different, PrizePicks also has other sports like golf and soccer. My favorite part about the app is and always has been how easy it is to use. You pick your players, you set your lineup, and you pick more or less and lock it in, right? Good example here. This is a season-long lineup that you can do as an example here. Dak Prescott more on the passing touchdowns at 27.5. I like going more to there, and I also like more on Joe Burrow of Cincinnati. They're making moves right now. I think it's going to be closer to the 4,000 mark, so I went more on that one. If you think I'm wrong, great. Go ahead and go less on those picks there. You can also follow me on PrizePicks the same way you follow me on Twitter. The new social feeds feature on PrizePicks. That's right, at Billy_BB, at Billy_BB. Go give me a follow right now to see what I'm picking daily. Download the PrizePicks app today. And we have the link in the comment section and description. All you got to do is use code HMA. That's right, HMA. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All you got to do is play it, and then you'll get the $50 in lineups after you use code HMA. Important to note. And as always, you'll hear this often. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Yes, I did mention the Colts possibly drafting a quarterback. And I know you may be thinking to yourself, that's kind of crazy. They have a full quarterback room. Technically, they've got 4 on the roster as of right now. But yeah, if they go for a quarterback, I would say, like, boom, Anthony Richardson rumors are heating up right after that. And I will note, Indy has been reportedly the visits and top 30 and pre-draft, post-draft, or up to the draft visits. I know they're all defined differently and listed differently, but the Colts have met with multiple later round quarterbacks. Good example, Garrett Nussmeier of LSU. The Colts, he revealed he has a top 30 visit with the Colts. So names such as that, right? Your 5th, your 6th, your 7th round picks. Yes, the Colts are looking at quarterbacks in that realm. So be sure to keep that in mind. Now we go from Richardson, that's a bad trade market. There's not much value there, not much interest there, to Kenny Moore. Yes, Kenny Moore, his market, his value, his trade talks. That's a whole different story because there's real interest here, guys. Teams want him. What they're willing to offer is differing, which is okay. I mean, it's all part of it and assessing what's going on and when, and you're looking at the upcoming NFL draft and who takes what position, and maybe just teams are going to come to the draft and be like, dang, we forgot to get a corner and all this. So there is real interest right now for Kenny Moore. We had some initial landing spots in our Kenny Moore trade request video. I have added teams based off recent reports, what we're reading, what we're hearing here at Chat Sports. You'll notice I've added the Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers to this. I did take the Bengals off because the Bengals just made a major trade. I don't know that that's something they'll do as of right now. I've added the Browns, who need help at that nickel slot position for corner. The Cowboys are looking to upgrade their defense. And then if you look up Kenny Moore landing spots, the Carolina Panthers are a team over and over and over again on there. So you go from Richardson, where it's like, I saw on a fake Twitter account that the Rams are interested, to Kenny Moore, where it's like team after team after team is interested in Kenny Moore as of right now. So, yeah, it's completely different from where you're at with Anthony Richardson. And I was talking to Tom Downey and Aiden Priest about it the other day, and they agreed. They're like, yeah, it seems like Richardson's like probably won't get done, and Kenny Moore's like going to happen pre or post draft, which is another thing we kind of have our eyes on with Kenny Moore. I'm not completely sure. We asked you guys earlier, will the Colts make a trade before or after the draft? As far as Kenny Moore goes, I am interested to see if it's before, during, or after the draft. If I had to guess, you wait till after and see how the dust settles, and then the Colts maybe will get a pick for next season with Kenny Moore. So those are players the Colts on their roster that they're looking to trade candidates, I guess you could say, and then trade targets. We got an update on the latest with Kayvon Thibodeaux, the New York Giant, and Jonathan Greenard of the Vikings, who I know has Colts fans very excited about the possibility of Jonathan Greenard. Let's start with Kayvon Thibodeaux. There's been some rumors. There's been some talk about where things stand with him and the Giants. Again, the 5th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft really has not popped yet for the Giants. In fact, they immediately, not long after, drafted a not replacement for Thibodeaux, but they added again to that defensive line, so he clearly did not fill out enough for what the Giants were looking for there. Trade value, talked with Marshall Green of Giants Now, and he's been, I'll give him his credit, he's been well with the trade value stuff, especially about Dexter Lawrence. He said third The third rounder gets it done. He said maybe a fourth if something happens or doesn't work out for the Giants in general. The latest from Ian Rappaport on Kayvon Thibodeaux, speaking of Dexter Lawrence. Look, the Giants traded Dexter Lawrence. That means a little less pass rush in that room, a little bit less on the defensive line. Looks like it is unlikely now, or less likely, as Ian Rappaport puts it, that they'd be willing to deal Kayvon Thibodeaux, which makes sense at this point in time. You can't risk really losing two key members of your defensive line back to back. And again, these are guys that you've invested time in and built up. And, for Kayvon, still hoping for one last shot to make it work there. My question for you is, clear the Colts want to add to their pass rush, their defensive line, D-tackle spots, get more. How will they do that? T for the trade, D for the draft. Will they trade for a pass rusher or draft a pass rusher? Let us know down below. All right, let's get into Jonathan Greenard, who we've discussed a couple times here on the show. First things first, there was Schefter talking about the Eagles. That was his Eagles section, was Jonathan Greenard. Eagles could be interested. Eagles could make it happen. However, there was a point that I locked in on, and he said the Eagles and Greenard will come back together possibly before the draft to talk. The Eagles and Vikings, that is, to talk about Greenard. Yes, the Eagles are still interested, but as Schefter noted and as I just said, the market seems slow, right? There doesn't seem to be much Greenard discussions. The Colts, if they want to get involved, if they want to make this happen, look, I'm kind of reinvigorated and inspired by what I saw the Bengals just do. Bengals wanted to do it. Bengals wanted to get it done. Maybe they overpaid with the 10th overall pick. They wanted help on the D-line and an instant impact player. They went out and got him. Colts could do the same thing. If they really want to make this happen, give up a third, give up a fourth, give up a third and a fourth, and go get Jonathan Greenard. If you believe you're a win-now team, that's the kind of move you'll make. However, my guess looks like Schefter's guess, and I know Kevin O'Connell made a statement. They expect Jonathan Greenard to be back in Minnesota and playing for the Vikings again. He's got time left on his deal. They like him on defense. I don't think this is a situation where the Vikings are itching to get rid of him. And Greenard, has voiced his frustrations. But again, it seems like a situation where they could definitely kind of work it out with Jonathan Greenard and then bring him back to Minnesota. So that's kind of the latest on Kayvon Thibodeaux and Jonathan Greenard. Thank you for watching Colts Talk. It's great to have you guys. A reminder, we will have NFL draft coverage all week long. So if you're not subscribed and you want free NFL draft coverage, be sure to hit that sub button. ESPN's going to cost you. The Athletic's going to cost you. Different, draft stuff is going to cost you this week. If you just want the latest easily and for free, be sure to hit that sub button.